Hello and welcome to another update video about BTC, Bitcoin. Yeah, I only want to talk briefly about the daily chart. We covered that one in the last video. But here just to highlight again, we're still holding below the descending trend line, which is something I'm definitely going to watch next week, this trend line. We're still holding above the 75,340 and $69,144 levels. These are two Fibonacci support levels which are relevant in case we get another low, which is absolutely still possible. To get one more low in this fourth wave, I already mentioned in the previous videos that as long as we stay below micro resistance, another low is actually preferred. So that is just based on the micro price action we've seen this week, and therefore another low seems very, very likely. However, another low means we would still hold Fibonacci support, at least most likely. And as long as the market is not breaking below 69,144 on a decisive or on a sustained basis, like a decisive break below, the overall white scenario, which is the scenario that still allows for another rally in this structure to 130k plus, that remains valid. And it's definitely something I'm watching. However, at the same time, we haven't got any confirmation that the rally towards 130k in the white scenario has begun, okay? It could have begun, might have begun, but there isn't anything that would tell me clearly that this is the case. This is highly speculative, okay? So I'm obviously watching for any reversal signals from down there because we've reached Fibonacci support. The overall correction could be completed at any point. Yeah, it is deep enough, and also, you know, duration-wise, that correction has fulfilled all requirements of this wave 4. It's very frustrating, which is what a wave 4 often is, but it is at this point unclear whether we get another low or not, and I mentioned my preference, I think, quite clearly. So should we break above that trend line and it's more than just a fake out wick, then I will first pay attention to the Fibonacci resistance zone that's highlighted in red on the chart between 90,925 and 103,831 USD. It's a standard resistance, which would be for red wave B, for example, or even white wave A. Then, if the next pullback afterwards is corrective, it could even be a setup that will lead to a rally towards 130k. 130k is not an absolute target. I use it as orientation, as a landmark. You know, it might be 135, it might be 125. We can calculate that a little bit more precisely once we have a little bit more price data on the micro level available. Now let us take a look at the smaller time frame. Here on the smaller time frame, we can also see that the market rallied in 3 waves from the 11th of March low, A, B, C. So it's a 3-wave move up, and the C wave was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. That is wave A in white. We could be now in wave B in the pullback, you know, before we rally in wave C towards mid 90k region here on the smaller time frame. However, this scenario is only plausible as long as we're holding the Fibonacci support box here on the smaller time frame between $79,189 and $81,159. So we could see this as a so-called A-B structure, and the B wave is an A-B-C pattern. Okay. Now, the rally from the last low, though, from the Thursday low, is not impulsive. And the white scenario, as I mentioned before, is speculative because we have a 5-wave move down and the rally so far is corrective and resistance is respected. But I will not rule out, you know, that Bitcoin is breaking out to the upside, but then that would require a signal. Now, if you believe the price will go higher from here, you have very, very clear levels to watch. The 79,189 level serves as key support for the white scenario. A decisive break below should be avoided to keep the white count alive. I have to say the triangle that we see on the chart there looks a little bit more like the yellow scenario. And the yellow count as well kind of makes a bit more sense to me. Given that we have a 5-wave move down, we had a failure of the bulls to the upside. That was not a 5-wave move up. The pullback was very deep. The rally into resistance got rejected. But okay, we don't have downside follow through. But obviously the price is still consolidating below resistance, and it looks like a triangle, and the triangle could be a B wave. That might be wave B of 2. Yeah, or so another test of resistance could happen, or it is even related to the downside move already. So I explained that in one of the recent videos. If the move down is not an impulse but a diagonal, then the initial move down was an A wave. This could be a B wave triangle, and we go down more directly. So if we go down more directly, it's perfectly in line with the yellow scenario, but it wouldn't be an impulse down, it would be a diagonal. So resistance between 84K and $86,968 remains relevant. A break below this week's low around 81,200 is needed to confirm further the move down is continuing. And more downside seems like, let's say, the path of least resistance. It seems like the most probable path right now. But any break above initial resistance at 86,968 would make me pay attention to the resistance area here on the larger time frame between 90.9K and 103.8K. So a bit of an indecision there on the smaller time frame, but probably late today or tomorrow we should get some clarity. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also today we've got our large member live stream again at 5 p.m. UTC. I'm always looking forward to that. It's our way to communicate, connect as part of the membership. We typically cover like 30, 40, 50 coins in the live stream. So if you have a request, feel free to join. Can't always cover them all. I think last week I covered them actually all, but usually it's not possible from a capacity and time point of view. But there's a possibility to ask for coin charts to be discussed and so on. You can ask your questions. So check it out. That is today at 5 p.m. UTC. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.